Now, do you regard a member of parliament as a celebrity? I have to make a confession. I absolutely do not. And I think actually a few too many of them regard themselves as celebrities. And that is one of the reasons that this country has got some of the challenges it currently has. But the reason I'm asking you this question tonight is because former Health Secretary Matt Hancock has put himself back in the spotlight again because, get this, he's heading off to join... I laugh because I found it so ludicrous. Sorry, I can't help it. He's heading to the jungle to do I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. I'll start with you, first of all, on this, Jacqueline. I just find this absolutely ludicrous. I don't think, personally, it should be allowed. But where do you stand on it?
Well, the thing is, I completely agree with you. I just talk about timing is everything. We're having some of the most difficult times. We've also got a COVID inquiry that's coming up and is ongoing. And then we have, one of our members of parliament who thinks it's a great idea. It's obviously a fait accompli. They've done the contract. Do I agree with that? No, I don't. The whips have pulled the whip on him, quite rightly. And so I suppose I can just look forward to him. Probably what he doesn't realise is that he's that popular that he's going to be doing every Bush Tucker trial, I think, throughout the entire period. As long as he lasts. And I wouldn't certainly want to do that. So that's just a bit of tongue-in-cheek. But I think it's a complete misjudgment of, you've got constituents, we've got all of these things going on. And I think it's just a ludicrous decision, quite frankly. I think his Conservative Association, I think, are pretty apoplectic about it, and they're quite right to be.
Yeah, and when you say he's lost the whip, just in case anyone's not familiar with what that means, he's still an MP, but he's just not a Conservative MP. That's what that means. James, where do you stand on it?
Yeah, I think it's embarrassing. It's definitely not the right decision. Completely agree with Jacqueline. Every point. I find like you're laughing at the idea of him doing it. I mean, I have no idea what he's thinking. I'm sort of almost speechless in trying to think it through. It must just be, in part, sure, the money and
of course,
like some money, but maybe it speaks a bit more to what our political culture is and how our media engage with our politicians, which does treat it a bit too much like drama and a bit too much like soap opera. And so he's lowering himself to that level. He's making himself an unserious figure and having I don't know what put in his cheek.
Yeah, for me, surely you must need permission from essentially your boss, your party leader or whoever to do this. And I just think that there should be, I think it's such a slap in the face for taxpayers. I'm paying your wages for you to go regarding yourself as a celebrity and go do whether it's not just Matt Hancock, by the way. There's been a whole raft of MPs that have done whether it's Strictly Come Dancing or Masked Singer or what. And it's right across the spectrum, by the way. It's not a Tory thing or a Labour thing. It's kind of happening everywhere. And I just think it really smacks in the face of a taxpayer. I'm paying you to regard yourself as a celebrity. And I don't know why the party bosses, in case you're watching, this is Anne Widdecombe. I mean, I laugh because it's laughable. It's laughable.
But she had retired, to be fair. Anne wasn't in Parliament at the time.
Yeah, but why? But to me, but I mean, you're not a celebrity. She's been dragged around the floor there. Like, she looks like a floor mop.
Yeah, no, I know, but there is a difference, isn't there? We're talking about somebody who is holding the office. The thing is...
Noreen Doris, she was in office, wasn't she?
Oh, no, I completely agree. And she had the whip removed, and then that came back. But as I said, I think the difficulty is in politics. There's an awful lot of egos, because that's the business, a lot of egos around. And I think there are some, sadly, across the piece, and they start to believe their own propaganda. And they've been on telly a few times, and then they're very famous and very flattered then when they're asked to do something. And, maybe that's human nature to a degree. But then this is where you have to be a bit discerning about what you do, because you have a responsibility once you're elected from whichever party or an independent, because you're there and you've said you'll serve your constituents. It doesn't mean to say you can't have other interests. It doesn't mean to say you can't do other things. Of course you can, because you'll get a lot of members of Parliament and they'll be doing all sorts of things in their constituencies and various things, fundraising, and that's quite right too. But this, as I said, the timing, it's going to be interesting to see the viewing figures, I think.
Just to give a bit of credit where it's due, he is making a donation to St Nicholas Hospice in Suffolk. the cynic in me would say that he's doing that to try and avoid a little bit of a PR backlash, but nonetheless, I'm sure that hospice will be very grateful.
I agree.
Don't forget, of course, he is publishing The Pandemic Diaries, a book, just in time for Christmas.